Hello children and yes. So in the previous class I explained about the Coulomb's inverse square law. So now in this class I am going to solve some problems by using Coulomb's inverse square law, and as well as I am going to solve some problems on the force between the multiple charges. So before going to solve some problems based on the Coulomb inverse square law and as well as using the principle of superposition, so once again I am recalling the Coulomb inverse square law formula. So what is the Coulomb inverse square law formula? That is nothing but F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is a Coulomb inverse square law formula. So when the Q1 Q2 charges are kept in air, so that's why here we are taking epsilon naught and nothing but, so now consider, so this is a Q1 charge and this is a Q2 charge and they are kept in air, and if the distance between them is R, this is the formula. So now consider if the distance between them is R1, now so then the force between them will be considered F1, and again, so if the distance between them will be, increased, and nothing but if the distance between them will be changed, that may be increased or that may be decreased. So now consider the distance between them will be R2. So in that case, so the force between them will be considered F2, and nothing but here we are not changing the charges, and when the distance between them charges is R1, the force is F1. When the distance between the charges is R2, the force is the F2. But here we are not changing the charges, and nothing but we are keeping the charges are constant, and here the Q1 Q2 are constant, and nothing but when, so the Q1 and Q2 are same or constant. So in that case, so from the Coulomb inverse square law, what we get, F is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, and nothing but here the Q1 Q2 charges are there, so the distance between them is R1, that's why the force is considered F1, so that's why the F1 is inversely proportional to R1 square, and in this case also the F2 is inversely proportional to R2 square. And by using these two relations, so we write a formula. So the formula is nothing but F1 by F2 equal to R2 square by R1 square. So this is the first formula based on the Coulomb inverse square law. So when we use this formula, so if the charges are the same, and nothing but we are not changing the charges, but only the distance between them will be changed. So what is the force? To calculate that, so we have to use this formula. What is that formula? F1 by F2 equal to R2 square by R1 square, and nothing but here the force and distance are inversely proportional. Coming to the second formula. So for example consider, so this is a Q1 charge and this is the Q2 charge, and the distance between them will be smaller. Now consider this Q1 and Q2 charges are the like charges. Like means the same sign. Nothing but both may be the positive charges or both may be the negative charges, then only they are said to be like charges. So now, so what my aim is, so where we have to kept the third charge, so that the net force on the third charge will be 0. So what is my aim? So where we have to kept the another third charge, so that the net force on the charge will be 0 due to these two like charges. So if the two charges Q1 and Q2 are the like charges, so we have to kept the third charge, between them, so along the line joining the two centers of the charges. For example consider, so I am placing the Q another third charge, so at a distance x, it will be, and nothing but this is the third charge, so the third charge is placing at a distance x from the Q1 charge. So if this Q charge is placed at a distance x from the Q1 charge, and it must be the what? It must be between this Q1 and Q2, then only the force on this Q charge will be 0. Net force on the Q charge will be 0. So then what about the remaining distance, and nothing but what about this q distance from the q2 charge, if this is x and what is the distance between them r, so then what about the remaining distance, that is nothing but r minus x. So when the net force on this third charge is become 0, the force between this q1 and capital Q and the force between this q2 and capital Q will be the same, then only the net force will be 0. The net force will be 0. So when the net force on the third charge will be 0, so the force between this q1 and capital Q and nothing but this q1 and third charge and the q2 and third charge will be the same and as well as and nothing but the same. If they are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, so then only the net force on this q charge will be 0. And what is the condition here? So now consider, so the F1 is that is the F1 is the force between this q1 and capital Q, and F2 is the force that will be the between the force capital Q and small q2. So then, so when the net force on the Q will be, our third charge will be 0, so that is nothing but if F1 equal to F2. If F1 equal to F2 is nothing but, F1 is nothing but the force between these two charges. So that's why what is the formula here, that is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So q1 capital Q by distance between them. What is the distance between them here? X. So x square equal to, and what is the F2 here? The force between this q2 and capital Q. So that's why the force between these capital Q and small q2 is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So capital Q into small q2 by distance, square of the distance. What is the square of the distance between that is nothing but r minus x whole square. So now here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught will be cancelled. So the capital Q will be cancelled. So then what you get, the formula is, so q by x square equal to q2 by, sorry, q1 by, here this is q1 by x square equal to q2 by r minus x whole square. So if this is the condition satisfied, so then only the net force on this third charge will be 0 due to these like charges. And now if they are the unlike charges, where we have to kept, now consider, so the q1 will be the negative charge and the q2 will be the positive charge. And if they are the unlike charges, so where we have to kept the third charge, so that the net force on the third charge will be 0 due to this q1 charge and q2 0. So now in this case, so we have to kept the third charge. We have to kept the third charge on the either side, on the nothing but on left side of the two charges or right side of the two charges, but not between them. And nothing but, now imagine I am placing the third charge Q here. Now what is the distance between them? The distance between them is r, and nothing but you may kept this third charge on the left side of these two charges or on the right side of the two charges, but along the line joining the two centers of the charges. And the third charge అనేది ఈ రెండు చార్జెస్ కు లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ అన్న మనం ప్లేస్ చేయాలి, రైట్ సైడ్ అన్న ప్లేస్ చేయాలి, but does not between them. If this third charge is placed between them, what happened? Now it will be, if it will be positive charge, consider it will be attract and it will be repel, and that's why the two forces direction will be in the same. That's why the net force cannot be 0. That is the reason. So now if I place here third charge, so now consider I am placing this third charge at a distance x from the q1. And what about the distance from q2? That is nothing but from q1 to q1 is r. Now q1 to this capital Q is x. So then what is the distance here? The distance is nothing but r plus x. Now consider the force between this q1 and capital Q will be considered F1, and it will be act in which direction? So it will be act in this direction. So this is a negative charge, and let us consider this is a positive charge. So these are the unlike charge. That's why the attraction will be takes place. This is the direction of F1. And now consider the force between this capital Q and Q2. These are what? Like charge. That's why it can be repel. That's why this is the direction of F2. So that's why, so the F1 and F2 may be equal in magnitude, and so are in opposite direction. Due to that, the resultant force becomes 0 on the capital Q charge. So when the resultant force becomes 0 on the third charge, if the F1 equal to F2. So what is F1 here? The force between this q1 and capital Q. So what is the distance between them? X. That's why 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So q1 capital Q by x square equal to, what is the F2? The force between this Q2 and capital Q. So that's a 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q small q2 by, what is the distance between them? R plus x whole square. So here 1 by 4 pi epsilon, 1 by 4 pi epsilon will be cancelled, capital Q will be cancelled, then what you get? So the Q1 by x square equal to, so Q2 by R plus x whole square, R plus x whole square. And nothing but if they are the like charges, we have to kept between them, and between anywhere, then only the net force on the third charge will be 0. In that case, we are getting R minus x. If they are the unlike charges, we have to kept on the left side of the two charges or the right side of the two charges. In that case, we are getting plus. We are getting what? Plus. So that's why what is the general formula? So that the net force on the third charge will be 0 because of these two charges. That is nothing but the general formula will be, so the Q1 by x equal to Q2 by R plus R minus x whole square. So this is a formula. So this formula will be used to where we have to kept the third charge between the two charges, so that the net force on the charge will be, the net force on the third charge will be 0. So next, coming to the force between the multiple charges or principle of superposition. So generally by using the Coulomb inverse square law, we can only find the force between the two charges. Force between the two charges. For example, consider there is a system containing the n charges. There is a system containing the n charges, and nothing but there are n charges are there. So when they are interacting with each other, so how we can find the force between them? So the for nothing but the force between the multiple charges, that can be found with help of the principle of superposition. So now consider, so this is a Q1 charge, and this is a Q2 charge, and this is a Q3 charge, and this is a Q4 charge, and this is a Q5 charge, and this is a Q6 charge, and the like. So there are n charges are there. There are n charges are there. So but I want to find the, so what is the force acting on this Q4 charge? What is the force acting on this Q4 charge due to this remaining charges? Due to the remaining charges. So for that purpose, first of all find the, what is the force between this Q1 and Q4, and what is the force between this Q4 and Q2, what is the force between this Q5 and Q4, and what is the force between this Q3 and Q4, and what is the force between this Q6 and Q4, and nothing but we have to find the individual forces, and what are the individual forces acting on this Q4, we have to find individually. So then after we have to find the vector sum of the all the individual forces exerting on this Q4 by the all remaining charges. So that vector sum will be gives the net force or the force between the multiple charges. So that will be called as principle of superposition. So now come to this example. So here I wanted to find the, what is the net force acting on this Q4 charge. So now consider that the Q4 charge will be considered at point O, and the Q1 charge will be considered at point A, and the Q2 charge will be considered at point B, and Q5 will be considered C, and Q3 will be considered at point D, and the Q6 charge will be considered at point F. And now consider, so the Q1 will be the positive charge, and Q2 will be the negative charge, and Q5 will be the positive charge, and Q3 will be the negative charge, and Q6 will be also positive charge. And there are the system of n charges. Now I want to find the, what is the net force on this Q4. So first of all find the, what is the force between this Q1 and Q4. So that force will be considered F1. So by using Coulomb inverse square law, what is a Coulomb inverse square law? F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by distance between them. So now the distance between them, this Q1 and Q4 will be considered R1, and the distance between this Q4 and Q2 will be considered R2, and this Q4 and Q3 will be considered R3, and this Q4 and Q5 will be considered R5, and the Q4 and Q6 will be considered R6. So then what is the force between this Q plus Q1 and Q4? That is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q1 Q4 by, what is the distance? R1 square. So this force is considered F1. But So now consider this Q4 is also positive charge. So now what is the force between this Q1 and Q4? This is the force. This will be gives the magnitude. But what about the direction? So these are the two like charges. That's why they can repel. They can repel. So the repelling force will be considered in this direction, and nothing but the repelling force will be from A to O. So that's why the F1 force will be act along which direction? AO bar. So in this way, find the individual forces exerted by this on the charge Q4 due to the remaining charges. Now if we find, so you get the F2. F2 is nothing but the force between this Q2 and Q4. So what is the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this Q2 into Q4 by what is the distance between them? R2. So that's why R2 square. But these are the two unlike charges. That's why they can attract. The attraction will be in this direction. And now this minus Q2 charge will be attract. So that's why that force direction will be in this direction. And along which direction? From O to B. So that's why the direction will be OB bar. So in this way we have to find the remaining all individual forces. So then after finding the F1, F2, F3, F4, F3, and so let us consider the force between this Q4 and Q3 will be considered F3. The force between this Q4 and Q5 will be considered F5, and the force between this Q4 and Q6 will be considered F6, and F3, F5, F6. So then after finding these individual forces, so then if we take the vector sum of all the individual forces exerted on this charge, on the given charge, will be give the net force. So that's why the net force is nothing but F net bar equal to, so the vector sum and nothing but F1 bar plus F2 bar plus F3 bar and plus go on. And nothing but how we can find the force between the multiple charges? By using the principle of superposition. First of all, we have to find the individual forces acting on the given charge, and on which charge we have to find the net force. So then we have to find the individual forces that are acting on the given charge. So then after we have to find the vector sum of all individual forces. So that can be gives the net force acting on the given charge. That will be called as principle of superposition or force between the multiple charges. So what is the force between the multiple charges or the principle of superposition? So that is nothing but when n charges are interacting, each other, then the net force, on any given charge, is vector sum of individual forces exerted on given charge by the remaining charges. So that will be gives a force between the multiple charges. This is also called as what? Principle of superposition. What is the principle of superposition? When n charges are interacting with each other, so the net force on any given charge is the vector sum of individual forces exerted on the given charge by the remaining charges. So this is called the what? Principle of superposition. By using the principle of superposition, so we can find the force between the any n number of multiple charges. So now coming to the problems on Coulomb's law. The first problem is find the distance between two charges when the distance between them is halved and doubled. And if there are two charges are there, so what is the force between them if the distance between them is halved and if the distance between them is doubled? We have to calculate. So for that purpose, so consider, so there are two charges are there. So the one is the q1 charge and second one is the q2 charge. So the initial distance between them will be considered r, and in that case the force between them will be considered F. The force distance between them will be F, and nothing but, so the R1 equal to R and initial force F1 equal to F. And first of all, so what we are doing, we are doing the distance between them is R foot, and nothing but when distance is R foot. When distance is what? R foot. And nothing but, so the distance between the two charges become how much? Now this time the distance between them is R foot, and nothing but R by 2. And nothing but the second distance R2 is nothing but R by 2. So then we have to calculate the final force when the distance between them is R. But R1 is R and here R2 is R by 2. So F1 is F and we have to calculate F. And already you know that the force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So by using this formula, so what is the formula we have to write? That is nothing but F1 by F2 equal to R2 square by R1 square. Already explained. So here F1 is nothing but what? F, and F2 we have to calculate, and R2 is nothing but what? R by 2, R by 2 whole square divided by, and what is R1? R1 is nothing but R, so that's why R square. So if we simplify, what we get? So F by F2 equal to, so the R square by 4 R square. If we simplify, so this R by 2 whole square is nothing but R square by 4. So this R square will be cancelled. So if we do the cross product, you get F2 equal to 4F, and nothing but, if the distance between them will be R foot, so the force become 4 times to the initial force. The initial force between them is F. So if the distance between them is R foot, then the final force become the 4 times to the initial force. And now coming to the second one. So if the distance between them is doubled, and nothing but when distance is doubled, and nothing but initially R distance is there. So now when the distance between them is doubled, and nothing but now the distance become how much? 2R. Initially R is there, now the distance become 2R, and nothing but here the final distance R2 is nothing but 2R. So then we have to calculate if the distance, what is the force when the distance is doubled. So again there is the distance between nothing but the relation between them, force and distance is inversely proportional, and nothing but F is inversely proportional to R square. So by using that relation, what we can write the formula, that is nothing but F1 by F2 equal to R2 square by R1 square. So F1 is nothing but F, and F2 we have to find, and R2 is nothing but 2R whole square by R1 is nothing but R square. So if you simplify, what you get? So F by F2 equal to 2R square, and nothing but 4R square by R square will be cancelled. So if we do the cross part, what you get? F2 is equal to F by 4, and nothing but F2 equal to 1 by 4 into F, and nothing but now this time, so the force become 1 by 4th of the initial force. Now the final force become 1 by 4 of the initial force, and now it will be decreased to the 1 by 4th. If the distance is R foot, it will be increased to the 4 times. This you have to remember. So the second problem on Coulomb's law is nothing but compare the strength of electrostatic force and gravitational force for an electron and proton, and estimate the acceleration of electron due to the electrical force between them. Them is nothing but electron and proton when they are 1 angstrom. And given that 1 angstrom equal to 10 power minus 10 meter, mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg, mass of the proton is nothing but 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. So the electrostatic force can exist between the two charges, and gravitational force exists between the two masses, already learned in the first year, intermediate first year. So what is the electrostatic force formula? The electrostatic force formula is nothing but the force between the two charges, that is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 by r square, and nothing but q1 q2 are the charges and the distance between them is r. So then the formula is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. And what is the formula of the gravitational force? That is nothing but the gravitational force between the two masses, F suffix g is nothing but capital G is nothing but universal gravitational constant into m1 m2 by r square. But here we have to compare the electrostatic force, gravitational force between electron and proton. So now consider this is a proton and this is the electron. So the distance between them will be considered r. The distance between them will be considered r. And what is the distance between them? That is nothing but 1 angstrom. And given that, so the r equal to 1 angstrom. 1 angstrom is nothing but 10 power minus 10 meter. So this proton and electron, proton has the positive charge and electron has the negative charge. Proton has a positive charge and electron has the negative charge. It has a proton, and a proton nothing but positive charge, electron is nothing but negative charge. So this proton charge E plus and electron charge, magnitude will be same. Magnitude will be same, that equal to E, that is how much? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. But mass of the proton is nothing but 1.67 into how much? 10 power minus 27 kg, and mass of the electron is nothing but 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So both have the same charge, but it has a positive charge, the electron has the negative charge. Nothing but now when the proton and electron separate by some distance, so now between them two forces are exist. Electrostatic forces exist because they have the mass, that's why they also have the gravitational force. So that's why we have to find the both, and then after we have to compare. What is electrostatic force formula? That is nothing but F suffix E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q1 is nothing but what? Q1 is nothing but proton charge, and Q2 is nothing but electron charge. Both have the same, so that's why write E into E by R square. And that is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is nothing but 9 into 10 power 9. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square by Coulomb square. So this can be changes from medium to medium. But here capital G, the capital G is called universal gravitational constant. It cannot be changes medium to medium, and the capital G does not depend upon the medium. But here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught can be depend upon the medium. Remember, this is the difference between the electrostatic force and the gravitational force. The G cannot be changes. It can be same anywhere in the universe, and it cannot be changes from medium to medium. The G value is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square by kg square. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon value is 9 into 10 power 9, and E into E is nothing but what? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 into 1.6 into 10 power minus, that's why square by distance between them is considered R square. And what is the gravitational force between the proton electron? That is nothing but capital G. So the capital G is nothing but what? Capital G into mass of the proton into mass of the electron by square of the distance between them. But what is the capital G? 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. So the mass of the proton is nothing but 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. And mass of electron is nothing but 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg, and divided by R square. So if we find the ratio, and nothing but the ratio of the electrostatic force to the gravitational force. So if we divide the electrostatic force with the gravitational force, so then what you get? So electrostatic force is nothing but 9 into 10 power 9 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square by, so this r square will be cancelled. So then finally in the denominator what you get? 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 into 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 into 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So if you simplify, you get that value is 2.4 into 10 power 39. 2.4 into 10 power 39, and that is nothing but if we do the cross product, so the electrostatic force is equal to 2.4 into 10 power 39 into the gravitational force, and nothing but the electrostatic force will be approximately 10 power 39 times the gravitational force, 10 power 39 times the gravitational force. So next, coming to the acceleration of electron, next one, second one. So acceleration of electron, so due to the electrostatic force between them. So first of all, to find the acceleration we have to find the what is electrostatic force between electron and proton. So what is electrostatic force between the electron proton? That is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, so E into E by R square. So because E is nothing but charge of this proton and next E is nothing but charge of electron, because both have the same magnitude, that's why I am taking the E into E. So that's why if we find the electrostatic force between the electron proton, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is nothing but 9 into 10 power 9. So electron charge, proton charge, electron charge nothing but 1.6 into 10 power 9, that's why 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square, the E will be same, that's why E into E is nothing but 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square by R square. What is the distance here? The distance is nothing but 1 angstrom. 1 angstrom is nothing but 10 power minus 10 whole square. 10 power minus 10 whole square. So if you simplify, so you get that value will be, so the 2.3 into 10 power minus 8, 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 newtons. This is the force between this proton and electron. But according to Newton's law, so F equal to ma. So that's why, and electrostatic force is equal to mass of the electron into acceleration. Mass of the electron into acceleration. What is electrostatic force? That is nothing but 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 into what is the m here? M is nothing but which acceleration we have to calculate? Electron. So that's why what is the mass of electron? 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 into acceleration of electron. So that's why the acceleration of electron A equal to, so what you get? 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 by 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. So again if you simplify, you get that value is 2.5 into 10 power 22. 2.5 into 10 power 22, so meter per second square. So this is the acceleration of the electron. This is the. So next to come to the problems on force between multiple charges. Force between multiple charges by using principle of superposition. So consider three charges Q1, Q2, Q3, each equal to Q. So there are three different charges are there, but both have the same charge, that will be equal to Q at the vertices of equilateral triangle of side capital L. What is the force on charge Q placed at the centroid of triangle? So that is the equilateral triangle, and nothing but a capital Q charge is placed at the center of equilateral triangle. So then we have to find the what is the net force on the charge Q due to this three charges placed at the vertices of the equilateral triangle. So now consider this is a equilateral triangle. This will be considered, it is a equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle means the all sides will be same and the angles at the vertices also same. So the angle between any two sides will be the same, that is also 60 degrees. So now consider its name will be ABC. The equilateral triangle name will be ABC. These have the three vertices. One is A, second one is B, and third one is C. And given that, so all the vertices of equilateral triangle of how much side? L side, and nothing but here AB is L, BC is L, and AC is also L, and nothing but AB equal to, so the BC equal to AC, that is how much? L. Now consider at A, let us consider the Q1 charge will be there, at B the Q2 charge will be there, at C the Q3 charge will be there. But here in the problem given that consider three charges Q1, Q2, Q3 each equal to Q, and nothing but the Q1 equal to, Q2 equal to, Q3 equal to Q. And next a charge capital Q is placed at the centroid of the triangle. Centroid is nothing but when a perpendicular, so when a perpendicular drawn from A to the BC side, and when a perpendicular drawn from B to AC side, and when a perpendicular is drawn to the AB from C, so then these all perpendiculars can meet at a point. This point will be called as what? Centroid. And nothing but if we draw the perpendicular to each side from each vertices, from each opposite vertices, and nothing but this is a BC side, from this BC side when we draw the perpendicular from A, and when we draw the perpendicular to AC from B, and when we draw the perpendicular AB from C, then these perpendiculars can meet at a point. That point is called centroid, and at the centroid we will consider the centroid point is considered O. At O what we placed? Q, capital Q charge. Then what is the net force on this Q charge we have to find. But to find the distance between this Q1 and Q and Q2 and Q and Q3 and capital Q, we have to find the distance between the distance between nothing but AO distance and BO distance and CO. But this AO must be equal to the BO and must be equal to what? CO. And nothing but the distance from this centroid to the each vertex is also same. But so when we are drawing the normal to the each side from each vertices, so already you know that, so these how much angle? These are nothing but 60 degrees. They are 60 degrees. So but we are drawing the perpendicular at the each vertices. So these all have the same length. Side will be the same length. So due to that, when we are drawing the perpendicular, this perpendicular will be also divide this angle into the equal, and nothing but this is totally 60. So that's why this is how much? This is 30 degrees. So this also how much? 30 degrees, and this also how much? 30 degrees. So now consider, so when we draw the normal from A to the BC, it will be intersecting somewhere, that point will be considered D. That's why this BC is nothing but total L. BC is nothing but what? Total L. This is a L. But what about the BD? The BD is nothing but L by 2 and DC is also L by 2. Now this is a right angle triangle. This is a right angle triangle called from triangle BOD. I am taking the cos 30 and nothing but cos theta. Cos 30 is equal to nothing but what? Adjacent side by hypotenuse. What is the adjacent side? The adjacent side is the BD and hypotenuse is nothing but what? BO. So the cos 30 value is how much? Root 3 by 2. So what is the BD? BD is nothing but here how much? L by 2 divided by BO. So if you simplify, what you get? If you simplify, root 3 by 2 into L by 2 BO. So this 2 will be cancelled. Then what you get? The BO is equal to, so BO is equal to L by root 3. And nothing but what is the BO distance? The BO distance is L by root 3. That's why this BO and CO and AO will be the same. So that's why what is AO? AO is equal to BO is equal to CO is equal to how much? That is nothing but L by root 3. And what you get? You get that the distance of this Q charge from this Q1, Q2, Q3, and nothing but this Q will be at the same distance from all the 3 charges. So then first of all find the force between this Q1 and Q. Then after find the force between this Q2 and capital Q. Then after find the force between this Q3 and capital Q by using the Coulomb inverse square law formula. What is the Coulomb inverse square formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by distance square. So now consider the force between this Q1 and O will be F1 and F1 is nothing but force between Q1 and Q. So now if we find F1 equal to what is the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So one charge is Q1 is nothing but what? Q, and capital Q by what is the distance between them? The distance between them is AO. What is AO? L by root 3, but the distance square is nothing but what? L by root 3 whole square. So that's why F1 equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So L by root 3 whole square is nothing but L square by 3. So this 3 will be go to the numerator. That's why 3 into small q capital Q by L square. But this force, this is a positive charge and this is a positive charge. It will be act along which direction? Now in this direction. This force will be act in this direction. And along which direction? Along AO direction. This will be act along the AO direction. Now F2 is nothing but the force between this small q2 and capital Q. F2 is nothing but force between small q2 and capital Q. And what is the distance between them? BO, and BO is also how much? L by root 3. So that's why according to Coulomb inverse square law, F2 is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q1 is nothing but what here? Q2, and Q2 is nothing but the capital Q by what is the distance between them? Again BO is nothing but what? L by root 3, L by root 3 whole square. L by root 3 whole square is nothing but what? L square by 3. Again L square by 3, denominator is there, it will be go to the numerator, that's why F2 equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 3 Q2 Q by L square. But Q2 is nothing but what? Q. Q2 is nothing but what? Q. So this will be act along which direction? It will be act along in this direction, in this direction. This is a positive charge, this is a positive repel. So due to that it will be act in this direction. And this is the direction of F1 and this is the direction of F2. And now come to the third force, that is nothing but the force between the Q3 and Q. So now consider the F3 is nothing but that is the force between Q3 and Q. So if we find the F3, so the F3 is also 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 means what here? The Q1 is nothing but Q3. Q3 is also equal to what? Q. So that's a Q into, and next charge is what? Q by the distance between them is also how much? The CO. CO is nothing but what? L by root 3. L by root 3 whole square is nothing but what? L square by 3. L square by 3. Again if we simplify, what you get? So that F3 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, so denominator is there, it will be go to numerator, that's why 3 into small q capital Q by L square. So now it will be act along which direction? This is also positive charge, it is also positive charge. So like charges, that's why they can repel, it can be act in this direction. That will be considered what? F3. So it will be act along which direction? CO direction. CO direction. But the resultant force is nothing but what? The vector sum of the all the force and nothing but the F1 bar plus F2 bar plus F3 bar. So what is our net force? The net force is nothing but, so the F1 bar plus F2 bar plus F3 bar. But first of all I am finding the net force between the F2 and F3. So then what about this angle? What about this angle? So actually this angle is how much? This angle will be 120 degrees because it is a triangle. Observe, it is a triangle. So in this triangle, so these are 30 degrees, these are 30 degrees. And what about this angle? So in the take the triangle, if we take the triangle BOD. So in every triangle, the sum of the internal angles is 180. So that's a here 30 degrees, 60. What about the remaining angle? That is nothing but 120. So when this angle is only 120, then the sum of the internal angle become 180. So that's why if it is 120, what about this? This is also 120. So that's why the angle between F2 and F3 is how much? 120. And again if you use the vector, if you use the parallelogram vector formula, by using the parallelogram vector formula, we can find the resultant force between the F2 and F3. So I am going to find the resultant force between F2 and F3 by using the parallelogram law of vector. So now what is the angle between them? This is angle is how much? 120. That's why this angle is also become how much? 120. According to parallelogram law vector, but these all the three forces are same and nothing but here. So the F1 equal to F2 equal to F3 equal to same, that will be F, that is how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 3 into small q capital Q by L square. So that's why if we find the force between this and nothing but the resultant force of F2 and F3 by using parallelogram law vector. So what is the resultant force? The resultant force between the resultant force of F2 and F3. So that will be considered F. That will be considered F dash. The F dash is equal to, so what is the angle between them? 120. That's according to parallelogram law vector. So what you can written as F2 square plus F3 square plus 2 F2 F3. So cos theta, cos 120 degrees. Your angle is nothing but 120. So that's why the F dash is equal to, F2 means what? F, and F square plus F3 square is also F square plus 2 F2 F3. F2 F3 means F into F square, but cos 120 value is how much? Minus 1 by 2. cos 120 value is minus 1 by 2. So this 2 will be cancelled. Then f dash is equal to how much? F square into f square, 2f square minus plus into minus minus f square. So 2f square minus f square is nothing but f square. Again this square and f will be cancelled. Then f dash is also what? F. And what is the resultant force? The resultant force of this f2 and f3 is also same f, but it will be act exactly middle. And now in this direction it will be act. So this is the consider f dash, and f dash is nothing but what? So this f dash is the resultant force of f2 and f3, and the resultant force of f2 and f3 and the f1 force both are acting in which direction? Opposite direction, and f dash is also f and f1 is also f, and these two are magnitude and equal magnitude, so they are acting in opposite direction. So this f dash and f have equal magnitude and acting opposite direction. So due to that, what happened? The net force is nothing but what? The net force is nothing but f3 bar minus f dash bar. So both will be same, and nothing but f minus f, that is nothing but what? 0. So that's why what is the net force? The net force on the charge q which is placed at the centroid is how much? 0. Because this f3 and f will be the same magnitude, nothing but f minus f. But both are, why I am taking minus here? Both are acting in opposite direction exactly. F dash is acting in this direction and f dash is acting in this direction. F dash is acting in this direction and along OA direction, and F1 acting along the AO direction. That's why what is the net force on the charge q placed at the centroid? That is 0. So coming to the second problem, force between multiple charges. So consider the charges q, q and minus q placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle, and nothing but these are the three charges. In these three charges, two positive charges and one negative charges are placed at the vertices of equilateral triangle. What is the force on each charge? What is the force on each charge? And nothing but we have to find the what is the net force on each charge due to the other charges. So for that purpose, so consider it is an equilateral triangle. It is an equilateral triangle. In equilateral triangle, all the sides will be same. So its name will be considered ABC, and nothing but here AB equal to BC equal to AC. So that will be considered L, and nothing but each side has length L. And as well as the angle between any two sides is how much? 60 degrees. 60 degrees. So now at A, let us consider minus q charge is placed, and at B plus q charge is placed, at C is also plus q charge is placed. So first of all, find what is the net force on this minus q charge placed at A. So net force on minus q placed at A. So the net force is nothing but, so we have to find the what is the force on this minus q charge due to this plus q placed at B, and what is the force on minus q placed at A due to this plus q charge placed at C. So first of all, find the force between this minus q and plus q. This minus q and this plus q, and nothing but, so the force between whom and whom? The force between, so minus q and plus q placed at B. So that according to whom? According to the Coulomb inverse square law. So the force on A due to B, the force on A due to B, this is nothing but what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 nothing but both have the same charge. That's why q into q is nothing but q square by what is the distance between them? The distance is between them nothing but AB square. AB and nothing but what? L. So that's why L square. And as well as the force between, so it will be act in which direction? This will be act. So this is a negative charge, this is a positive charge. This is a negative charge, this is a positive charge. So that's why what happened? So this positive charge can be attract this negative charge in this direction, and nothing but this is the direction of force on A due to B. and nothing but it will be act along which direction? So in this direction, and from A to B, AB bar. And next force between minus Q and plus Q placed at C, at C. Again this also same value. So that is nothing but force on A due to C is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, so charge into charge, this is a minus Q, this is a plus Q, but don't take the sign here. So Q into Q, Q square by, what is the distance between them? A into A to C distance is nothing but also L, so L square, but this will be act in this direction. This is the direction of force on A due to C. So it will be act along which direction? Along CA, from where to where? From A to C, and nothing but AC bar. But the angle between them is how much? 60. So that's why what is the net force on this? Net force on this charge minus Q placed at A according to parallelogram vector, so the net force on minus Q is nothing but, let us consider the net force on A will be considered f suffix A is equal to square root of, so this will be the same, and nothing but FAB is equal to FAC, that is how much that will be considered F. So that's a F square plus F square into 2 F1 into F2, and nothing but F into F square, and what is the angle between them? 60, that's why cos 60 degrees. So finally how much you get? You get that, so cos 60 is nothing but 1 by 2, so 1 by 2 and this 2 will be cancelled, so then what you get? The net force on A is nothing but root F square into F square, 2F square plus, so cos 60 1 by 2 and this 2 will be cancelled, again F square, so that's why what you get? You get that root 3 F square, again if we take the F outside, so F into root 3, and it will be act in this direction, this will be act in this direction, it will be act along this direction. This is the force of what? Force on A due to this remaining two charges. And now coming to the, what is the force on B? So next net force on B, and net force on plus Q placed at B. First of all find the force between this minus Q and this plus Q, that will be considered the force on B due to A charge placed at A, that is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charge into charge time minus Q into plus Q, and nothing but Q into Q square by how much distance? L square. Now this force act in which direction? Now this force, and now minus Q charge will be attract, that's why it can be act in this direction. Now this time it will be act in this direction, and now it will be act along which direction? It will be from B to A, and nothing but, so BA bar, it will be act along in this direction, so BA bar. And as well as now find the force on plus Q, and due to this plus Q charge placed at C, and nothing but force on the B due to this C is nothing but again 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charge into charge, and Q into Q square by, what is the distance between them? BC, distance square is nothing but what? L square. This is also same, but it will be act along which direction? So this positive charge can be repelled, now it can be act in this direction, it will act now in this direction. So that's why what is the direction? From C to A, CA bar. But this force on B due to A, force on B due to C will be same, that will be considered F, magnitude will be same. But the resultant, what is the angle between them? The angle between them is how much? 120. So that's why the net force on plus Q placed at B, this B is nothing but can be calculated with help of parallelogram vector. According to that, the net force on the B is nothing but, according to parallelogram vector, F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. So F1 is nothing but what? F, and F2 is also F. So that's why F1 square is nothing but F square, and F2 square is nothing but F square 2 F1 and F2 into cos. What is the angle between them? angle between them, this FBA and FBC is nothing but what? 120. So that's why cos 120 degrees. Cos 120 is nothing but -1. So the net force on B is nothing but f square plus f square is nothing but what? 2f square plus, so 2 into f into f, 2f square, but cos 120 is nothing but -1 by 2. This 2 and 2 will be cancelled. So then what you get? 2f square plus into minus f square, and nothing but again f square, this square and f will be cancelled. Again, what is the net force? The net force acting on B is how much? That will be F, and nothing but that is equal to nothing but the force acting on B due to A and force acting on B due to C. FBA, F suffix BA, F suffix BC is how much value? So the net force is also have the same value. And now coming to the what is the net force on C? And nothing but, so the net force on plus Q placed at C. So if we find that is also the same, because so the force on this plus Q due to this minus Q will be act in this direction, that is also same F, and the force on this plus Q placed at C due to B is also act in this direction, and nothing but this is the direction of force on C due to A, and this is the direction of force on C due to B. So this FCA and FBA, and nothing but the force on C due to A is equal to the force on C due to B is also the same, that is F, that is also how much? That is also 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q square by L square. And again if we find the net force, what is the angle between them? The angle between them is also 120. Again by using the parallelogram vector, if we find the net force, so the net force is how much? Again F, but if we find the so this is the F suffix A, and this is what? This, and this will be act in this direction. Now the resultant force on B will be act in this direction, and the resultant force acting on the C will be act in this direction. This is the resultant force and nothing but the net force on the plus Q placed at B will be act in this direction, and the net force on the C will be act in this direction, and the net force on A will be act in this direction. Again if we add these three forces, so then that will be gives to 0, that will be